Can't remember what you had for dinner yesterday? Spend half your morning searching for your phone? Feel like important information just vanishes from your mind during crucial meetings? If you're over 40, these experiences are probably becoming frustratingly frequent. And each time it happens, you might think to yourself, I guess this is just what getting older means. But here's the revolutionary news that will change everything you believe about aging and memory. Leading neuroscientists from around the world have spent 30 years proving that, regardless of your age, you can restore your memory to the sharp, lightning-fast level you had in your 20s. Even more incredible, new brain cells are generated even at age 70. And with the right stimulation, you can develop memory abilities that surpass what you had in your youth. Some studies have documented 90-year-olds recovering cognitive abilities equivalent to people in their 30s through specific brain training protocols. The real reason your brain ages. Most people accept memory decline as an inevitable part of aging. This belief is completely wrong. A healthy brain maintains its ability to form and store new memories, even at 100 years old. Dr. Peter Eriksson from Sweden's Karolinska Institute was the first to prove that adult brains generate approximately 1,400 new brain cells every single day. So why do we feel like our memory is declining with age? The real culprit isn't brain deterioration but brain usage patterns. As we get older, we fall into increasingly comfortable routines. We take the same route to work, eat the same foods, meet the same people, and think the same thoughts. These repetitive patterns signal to our brain that creating new neural connections isn't necessary. Just like unused muscles atrophy, brains that aren't challenged become sluggish. But fortunately, this process is completely reversible. The secret of a 20-year-old brain. What makes a 20-year-old brain so remarkably sharp? The secret lies in optimized neuroplasticity. A 20-year-old brain encounters new information, new experiences, and new challenges daily. College courses introduce novel concepts. Social situations demand adaptation, and career preparation requires learning new skills. All of these continuously stimulate the brain to forge fresh neural pathways. The Max Planck Institute for Cognitive and Brain Sciences in Germany provides stunning evidence for this. They subjected adults over 70 to specialized brain exercises and found that in just 3 months, memory test scores improved to levels typical of 20-year-olds. Brain imaging revealed actual increases in hippocampus and frontal lobe volume, with neural connection density returning to youthful levels. First brain exercise: reverse time memory. The first technique involves remembering everything backwards. This seemingly simple method has revolutionary effects on your brain. Every night before bed, mentally review your entire day in reverse chronological order. Start with what you just did, then work backwards through evening activities, afternoon events, lunch, morning tasks, and finally waking up. Initially, this feels difficult because our brains are programmed to store memories in chronological sequence. But this difficulty is precisely the point. When your brain must work in unfamiliar ways, new neural pathways activate. This process forces your brain to process information in completely different patterns than usual. Reverse sequential memory rather than forward sequential memory strengthens novel neural pathways between your frontal lobe and hippocampus, dramatically improving memory accuracy and vividness. Stanford University neuroscience research shows that people practicing this technique for 10 minutes daily demonstrated 40% improvement in memory tests after 8 weeks. Even more remarkable, these effects weren't temporary but persisted long-term and generalized to other types of memory tasks. Second brain exercise: multi-sensory memory fusion. The second method maximizes all 5 senses for memory formation. Your brain creates the most powerful memories when multiple senses activate simultaneously. Human brains contain separate regions for processing each sense. Visual information processes in the occipital lobe, auditory information in the temporal lobe, and tactile information in the parietal lobe. When multiple senses activate together, connections between these regions strengthen, forming much more powerful and lasting memories. When encountering new information, don't just rely on sight or hearing alone. Engage as many senses as possible. Write important content by hand. Read aloud. Draw related images or visualize concepts. If possible, connect movements or gestures as well. For example, when remembering someone's name, don't just mentally repeat it. Connect it with their physical features. Remember their voice tone. Recall the handshake sensation. Think of similar sounding words or images. And actually write the name if possible. UCLA neuroscience researchers conducted extensive studies showing that multi-sensory learning methods improve memory retention by 65%, compared to single-sense learning. This effect was particularly pronounced in people over 60, suggesting that diverse sensory stimulation becomes increasingly important with age. Third brain exercise spatial memory palace method. The third technique utilizes the ancient Greek memory palace method. In modern applications, this approach combines spatial and logical memory into one of the most powerful memory techniques available, developed by the ancient Greek poet Simonides. This method exploits humans' exceptional ability to process spatial information. Through hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, humans needed to remember their territories accurately for survival, resulting in highly developed spatial memory capabilities. First, choose a very familiar location, preferably your home. Then establish a consistent route through each room. Starting from the front door, you might go entrance, living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, or create your own sequence. The key is maintaining the same order always. Designate specific landmarks in each location. In the entrance, use the shoe rack in the living room, the sofa and TV in the kitchen, the refrigerator and sink in the bedroom, the bed and closet. Create about 10 to 20 such points total. Now connect information you want to remember with specific locations along this route. For a shopping list, imagine milk cartons wedged between shoes at the entrance shoe rack, giant bread loaves serving as sofa cushions in the living room, and detergent dancing with water and bubbles at the kitchen sink. Neuroscientists using fMRI to observe this method confirmed that spatial memory regions in the hippocampus and logical thinking areas in the frontal lobe activate simultaneously, creating extraordinarily powerful memories. This is the exact method world memory champions use to memorize thousands of pieces of information. Fourth brain exercise number image conversion system. The fourth technique connects numbers with images. Numbers are inherently abstract concepts. In our brain's evolutionary development, number processing abilities developed relatively recently, so they don't register as naturally as visual images. However, converting numbers to concrete images completely changes the situation. Connect each digit 0 through 9 with specific images, preferably ones resembling the number's shape. For example, 0 as egg or wheel, 1 as pencil or candle, 2 as swan or hook, 3 as mountain or butterfly, 4 as chair or sail, 5 as hand or hook, 6 as elephant trunk or cherry, 7 as boomerang or cliff, 8 as snowman or infinity symbol, 9 as tadpole or balloon. When memorizing phone numbers or important digits, convert each number to its corresponding image and create entertaining, memorable stories connecting them. For the number 123, imagine a pencil writing on a swan's back while crossing a mountain. This method's effectiveness is truly remarkable. It's the same technique world memory champions use to memorize hundreds of digits of pi. With sufficient practice, ordinary people can easily memorize 50-digit numbers or more. Fifth brain exercise scientific spaced repetition. The fifth method utilizes scientifically proven optimal review timing, essentially reverse engineering German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus's famous forgetting curve. Ebbinghaus's research showed that humans forget half of new information within 1 hour, 70% within 1 day, and 80% within 1 week. This is the famous forgetting curve. However, reviewing at appropriate intervals can dramatically slow this forgetting process. The optimal review schedule is first review after 1 hour, second review after 1 day, third review after 1 week, and fourth review after 1 month. This timing re-stimulates information just before the brain would forget it. Optimizing memory transfer from hippocampus to cortical long-term storage. Properly spaced repetition is over 10 times more effective than simple multiple repetitions. Modern neuroscience research indicates that during spaced repetition, learning, hippocampal memory storage cells gradually transfer information to the cortex's long-term memory repositories. Each review process strengthens this transfer, eventually solidifying information into permanent long-term memory. If this video helped you, please subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications to receive more brain health information. Share this with your loved ones too.